€7,500 to fix my Vans engine, thousands more for a potential new van build, or moving back into a house. With my van Sophie breaking down, my van life just came to a crashing halt. And in this video, I'm breaking down the 3 impossible choices I have to choose from right now. Hey Bobo. It's now almost a week since my van Sophie broke down. I've taken some time to recover from the stress of it all and to try and grasp the reality of what it truly is that I'm now facing. So the most obvious choice would be to try and somehow have Sophie fixed. If there was nothing else going on with Sophie, then that would have been my preferred choice. But like you could see in my previous video, when I drove to my parents' house, we were already troubleshooting a different technical error. And we had not really figured out what that problem was. Most likely that was the mass air sensor, which could be traced back to when I was driving to Sweden. My alternator broke and it gave spike power through the engine, which could have messed up that sensor. And it's kind of looking like that is the issue. Now, if that is the issue, that's an easy fix. I can probably do it myself and it's not that expensive. But the thing is, we're not sure if that is the actual issue. So if I have Sophie's engine fixed and it's only going to be the €7,500 that they're now thinking it's going to be, then there's still a chance that she's driving, but she still is giving this technical error. And we don't know exactly where that is from. The other thing is that I love my van. And if she wouldn't have broken down, I would have just spent everything I have in trying to keep her and fix her up. But she has been rusting. She has lots of rust. And 2 years ago, my dad and I did lots of maintenance on the rust, which patched it up. But it is coming back. The rust has not been stopped properly. Having all of that rust tackled is a sort of impossible without breaking half of the van build, because they need to weld on the exterior and there's insulation attached to that, so then the van can catch fire, which is not what we want. So then I would need to break half of my van build. And on the other hand, that's also very expensive, around 3 to 4, maybe now €5,000, because the estimate I got was 2 years ago. Now I can still patch things up, but last year when I did my MOT, which is actually expiring in September, which is also pressuring me to get things sorted out. Last year when I did the MOT, there was a part on the bottom of Sophie, on the, I don't know, but there was a part there that they luckily could weld because it was not directly onto the bottom of the van where the insulation sits. So they fixed that up. But recently when I was on the van, I already saw that that's starting to rust again. I'm not sure how much rust on the van is actually impacting the chances of getting through an MOT, but also the chances of her working properly. If things start breaking off, that's not good. Now she's had some rust on her doors, like this door and the back doors, and the door can be replaced, but still that's also around €500 to €600 per door. So these are all things that I'm considering. So best case, the crankshaft has broken and the part has moved, but it hasn't damaged anything else. Then they can fix it. It's about €7,500. Then she's back to working, and then the dream lives on. Sophie's fixed, and hopefully we also replace the air vent sensor, and then hopefully that'll fix all the issues that I've been having lately. But there's also a chance that when the crankshaft broke, that it moved and it damaged other parts, which could potentially mean that then my, what's that? Gear shift box, is that a word? my automatic gear shift box is damaged. Now that's also a part that can be replaced, but that means that it's about, I think, 3,000 euros or so on top of the 7,500. And we are facing the truth that even though I have lots of emotional attachment to this van and I don't want to be separated from her, it's a van from 2010. Now the good thing is that if I do revise, I don't even know the word, if they do fix the engine, that means that she has like basically a new engine. It's not new, we're going to put a new engine in, but so many parts are going to be replaced when they do that she'll be set for a long time probably. But that still leaves the issue with the rust. Now it does have my first choice. It's a very insecure choice. It's a very unsure choice. I don't really know exactly if that'll fix everything. We don't really know if there's more damage to it until we open her up. And at that point, she's already been towed to a place, and then that's, you know, we're already going into that direction. So yeah, that's one of the options, but it's a very insecure, unsure option about if that's a good way to go. The second option is I buy another van, which is maybe a couple of years younger. I would, of course, not buy a Sprinter van again because I love Sprinter vans, how they work and everything, even though her crankshaft broke, which is like a super rare incident that this happens. So it's just bad luck. I wouldn't buy a Sprinter again because the Sprinters, how wonderful they are, they rust like crazy. And I don't want a van that's rusting because it's so hard to do maintenance on that, especially when it's been built out for van life. So then I would have to try and find a different type of van that will suit the needs that I have for it. But that would also mean I would have to build out an entire new van, which, if that would have been my choice, you know, the situation would have been different. I would have been prepared. Now, when I started building out Sophie, I did months of research before I started doing things. If I would have to do it now, it's now August. I would want to have her finished somewhere maybe end of September, October, because fall is setting in. And then also I need to somehow sell this van. Like, do I then take all of the stuff out of here and then put that in the new van, or do I keep this van this way and sell her as a van, Vanlife van with a broken crankshaft? Because if I start breaking stuff out of here that I would like to reuse in the new van, I'm destroying the house I'm living in before I have my new house built. So how is that going to be for a living situation? Now I am in a very luxury position that I have the property here, and I could potentially have two vans stalled here for a little while, and as soon as my new van would be like livable, sleepable, I would get rid of this van then. Which sounds so horrible saying get rid of her, but like make sure that she goes somewhere else or gets sold or whatever, which clears up new budget, but also I just have one van to take care of, and then I would just finish that. Now, when I built Sophie, it took me over a year, but that's due to different circumstances. I was living in a house, I had a plant web shop, so I needed to go like to places to get all the plants. I needed to sell the plants, I needed to make advertisement, I had a horse still, I needed to take care of my horses. There were so many things going on that I'm not sure why it took me a year, if that was because I was still figuring things out, or if I didn't have the funds immediately, so I was trying to make money to build the van. Or I don't remember why it took me a year to do so. I was also always planning on keeping that house and having the van next to it. So I didn't really rush into building that van. And if I would do it now, I would need to rush. Which also brings me back to my carpal tunnel. I have carpal tunnel syndrome. So if I do too much heavy stuff, that acts up, and that gives me nerve pain, and that prevents me from sleeping well and gives me lots of pain in my arms. So that's also a thing I need to consider. Like, I am capable of doing it, but at what cost? There's also, of course, the option of buying just a van that's already built out, but I really don't want to do that. I love that this van is built by myself, so that, for instance, when I was changing the dog houses 2 weeks ago or so, I could just, kind of exactly where the screws are, but I can just adjust things. And I want to know how the van has been built. I don't want to buy a build out van. That's not an option I'm considering. That's just a no for me. Then there's option 3, which is I sell my van in the state that it is currently in. I have no idea what it's worth, but then I just sell her. And then maybe somebody that knows, like a mechanic that wants to fix her up, will fix her up, and that will have a very nice van. Then, like, how do you say that? Life's your oyster. That frees up all the possibilities there are in the world. I can move anywhere in the world. I can do anything else with my life. I can go live in a house, go do a day job, and give up on the dream altogether. It's not something I want to consider, but it's an option at this point. And the little bit of an option there might be moving to Sweden, renting a house there, or maybe buying a tiny little thing. But anything I can buy maybe probably isn't livable. And I always thought I would buy a property in Sweden and then it wouldn't be livable. But I would have my van. So as long as I had some sort of power source and water source, I could just live in my van and create any beautiful utopia there for me. And I would have lots of time to do so. But now that we're going into fall, that's probably also not a great option to do. So yeah. Now, any of the options that I'm facing do have a struggle in them that I will be without my living space for at least a while. Because if I sell my van and move somewhere, I don't have my van before I get the new property or so, I think. If I have Sophie fixed, that means she'll be gone for at least 8 days, but probably longer. And if I build out an entire new van, that probably means that somewhere in the middle, I will have to change houses. I will have to change vans. So that will mean that somewhere there will be an overlap of a very uncomfortable living situation. So any of these options are going to have an influence on that. And there is something that I haven't really talked about that is also a big factor in what is going on right now. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to properly make the video. I also waited a week to do so in hopes that I would have been emotionally more stable to talk about this. But what is happening is that I've been struggling. I've been struggling with autistic burnout since almost a year now, and probably longer before that. And because I've been trying to recover from that, I haven't been able to do a day job. So I've been investing all my time and energy in trying to get a sustainable living out of my YouTube channel and trying to get other online incomes. Even though this means that I've now started to feel physically and emotionally a bit better, and I'm starting to get a grasp on the autistic burnout, this also means that my financial safety net is no longer here, and my budget is now at €0. And that's also why the choices I'm facing today feel so heavy. Because I'm not just deciding over the future of my van, I am deciding over our future of my dogs and I, and also about my recovery. It is an awful lot to carry this on my own. And at this point, I don't have all the answers. And the only thing that I am sure of is that I want to keep our journey going. If you have enjoyed following our Vanlife and you would like to help us get back on the road, then there's two ways that you can support us. First, I've set up a GoFundMe for those of you who would like to make a one-time donation to help us with the repairs of Sophie or maybe going towards a future build. Every little bit helps more than you know. And secondly, I've launched my channel membership here on YouTube. As a member, I'll be taking you much deeper with me behind the scenes in this entire process. You'll get exclusive updates, early access to my videos, and a more in-depth look on the costs and decisions that I'm facing every day. It is a way for us to stay more connected during this transition. Links to both can be found in the pinned comment or in the description below. Thank you so much for being here, for all your kindness and all the advice in the comments. It really helps me feeling that I'm not going through this all alone, and it helps me see the silver lining in all of it. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.